All right, so we're back again with our fourth podcast episode of Eavesdropping Knowledge, where we talk about dispatching, trucking, and also dropping knowledge of other entrepreneurship. And today we have another great guest by the name of Erica Walker, out here doing the thing, got 2 million trucks. Look at you roll eyes. But no, go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't want to steal the show from you.
Okay, so my name is Erica Walker. As he said, I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm from Texas. You said introduce myself?
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm messing with you. Go ahead. My bad. Do your
thing. I'm from a small country town called Hooks, Texas. I started dispatching in November, end of November, early December of 2020. I currently work corporate side as well as an analyst, and I'm a softball umpire on weekend. Oh, I don't have no kids, but I am an aunt to 3 boys and a girl, and a 16-year-old girl.
Okay. How did you tell us, like, because I want to know, like, what were you doing before and what piqued your interest into dispatching?
So as I was stating, I do work corporate America, and Corona happened. And luckily, I was one of those people who was already 3 days work from home. So when Corona happened, it pushed us to work from home permanently. But in the back of my mind, I was like, dang, what if I had been one of those people who lost my job? Other than umpiring, I really didn't have anything to fall back on. At 16, I was working at a truck stop, and the only thing I knew was the scale, first weigh and reweigh, as far as that. But that was the only basis that I had in trucking. And I spoke to my little brother, and I was like, man, what do you think about brokering? And he was like, well, I don't know. Do you know much on it? You looking like my little brother, we bounce ideas off each other. And he was like, have you looked into the cost of it and stuff? I was like, yeah, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. And then it'd be something that I don't like. He was like, okay, well, I've been following Alex on Instagram. He got this dispatch course. What you think about dispatching? So we watched a couple of lives that Alex did. And then, what was it? Black Friday weekend. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, do I want to spend this money? Because y'all like coupon.
Yeah. I got to break in here. So what people have to understand, Erica is the queen of coupons. Like, she don't do nothing at full price. Like, she's the type to find cheap airfare, cheap hotels, all that stuff. Like, she not gonna spend. If it says it costs $1, she's gonna try and figure out a way to pay 50 cents.
You're right. Yeah. Some kind of way, I'm gonna try to find one. And I was like, I don't know.
I got 30 of these because of Erica in my house right now. I'm joking. Go ahead.
Hey, you might need to be ready for another pandemic, because when that toilet paper and all that went out, folks were trying to hit me up to buy. But it paid off. But we were watching a couple of Alex's lives, and it was Black Friday weekend. I was like, man, I'm gonna wait till Monday when I get paid. If he still got it on sale, I'm gonna get it. And he did a Cyber Monday sale. I was like, all right, bet, I'm gonna pay for it. Yeah. So I started the course instantly that day. I isolated myself for 2 weeks as far as just worked my regular job and watched and took the course. I didn't coupon, I didn't umpire. I just kind of dedicated all of my time to that, took notes, and I finished December 11th of December 12th. Applied for my LLC, and I was up and running since then. Wow. I didn't get my first carrier until end of January, early February. And he was a power only, and we worked together for a while up until he had this dedicated that was coming up. So that's where I kind of got my start on power only trucks. It was my very first carrier.
Tell us, how did you get your first driver?
Facebook. I did the Indeed ads. I made an Instagram, a business page, but I joined a whole lot of Facebook groups. And instead of just posting my business, I would wait till drivers would say, hey, I need a load from such. And then bam, I instantly inbox them, give them my name, who I represent, and, try to throw the offer out there and be like, hey, I also have DAT and whatnot. I'm a legit up and running business. I see you're in this area. There's a load. This broker has a load for this, and this. And that's how we got started.
So tell me this, because I've seen drivers like that on Facebook groups. Did you make them sign up with your carrier packet first, or did you just go ahead and book him a load and was like, well, I'm gonna see if he likes this? Or how
Oh,
did
so
you
for
do
the
it?
first one, I just threw the load out there to him. But then when he was like, yeah, I'm interested, I turned around and sent him my carrier dispatcher agreement
Okay, that's
and
smart.
started up that way.
She dropped the bar for y'all. So if some of y'all out there looking for carriers, there you go, right there. That's definitely a bar for y'all.
So let me ask you this. So you said that he was just kind of like killing time between that point and then when he picked up his dedicated lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long was that time period? About?
It was about 3-4 months.
Oh, okay. So you had a pretty good run with him. So you were
Yeah.
dispatching them power only. So what type of loads were you doing? Because I know Karis and I, we focus on the loadouts. We really not trying to find any type of just regular power, because the power only is like, even when rates was up, power only was at the bottom
It was still
total.
at the bottom. Like when I started, I tried doing the regular loads. I was like, okay, this ain't it. And then we found a loadout trailer, and the loadout trailer, they gave it to him for 14 days, and he wanted to go home for the weekend. So we booked him a load from that same area to drop in his hometown that Monday morning. And then we kept that loadout trailer, and we just ran the area in like a little triangle area about 300-400 miles. And when it was time to take the trailer back, it was to like Ohio. So we just booked the drop-in load to Ohio, allowed them to drop their load, and then drop the trailer. Picked up another loadout trailer in Ohio coming back to PA.
Nice.
Mm.
Very
But
nice.
y'all, power only. Whew.
It'll work your nerves. You got
it's a lot of carriers that are starting out with power only because they just had enough funds to buy a truck. They don't have the funds to buy a trailer, but it all comes with explaining to them like, hey, you can't expect $3.54 a mile like a drive-in starting out unless you have those certifications and endorsements, because those will carry you to where you can haul those FedEx loads and whatnot. During December, Christmas area time, where FedEx has a whole bunch of loads, or UPS has a whole bunch of loads, and they're looking for people who got double and triple endorsements to run those loads.
Okay. All right. See, now you dropping, you getting like into the nitty gritty, you dropping that real game, because like most people, when you see that, those brown UPS trailers or the FedEx trailers, and you see the double trailers, you don't even think like that's like a special skill, but that's like a special little niche inside of trucking. So it's like there's always niches for stuff. Like I had the opportunity, we didn't get it because honestly the carrier kind of just flaked out, but had opportunity to run like a lane for postal service for mail, and the people like mail because it's light. You know what I'm saying? Those loads are like 10,000, sometimes 12,000 pounds. So in trucking, that's a super light load, and they pay pretty decent, but it's just, what I'm saying, constant back and forth. If you can get something like that, that's
hold on to it. You can.
So what, as far as your business, and your business is Royal Mile Dispatch Service, correct? Now, see, the thing about Erica is she is like a lot of y'all here like to rock your Louis and your Gucci and everything, but she rocks her Royal Mile. As you can see with her shirt now, she got the fly jacket that Karis, our pre-conversation, Karis gonna rock that, to the club. So y'all need to figure out, how y'all can make that happen. Exchange. She got, what I'm saying. What else do you have? You got a lot of swag. So what else?
I have shirts, I have sweaters, I have masks, I have a cup, I have my softball glove designed in my business name. I have a Letterman jacket, which now too hot to wear in Texas, but I'm tempted to throw that joke on because it is nice. And here recently, I got the suitcase covers. So now when I travel, I'm gonna make sure that my suitcase has my business cover on it, which also is a benefit because ain't nobody else gonna have that cover at the airport when it comes to check bags. So I'm for real, y'all. I'm cheap. I'd be trying to find ways to have a tax write-off for a dispatching company, and advertisement is your biggest bet. Like I try every month or every other month to go on Vistaprint and reprint my cards, about 1,000 cards, and just try to pass out. I'll be in the grocery store just dropping cards down aisles because you just never know who you might come across who knows somebody that has a trucking company.
Hold on, you drop them on the floor?
No, I drop them on the items in the store.
Okay.
Like I even when I travel and I drive and I go into Loves and stuff, I'm dropping them in the bathroom. I'm on putting them on the candy aisle because, you know, truck drivers eat a whole bunch of candy and junk food. So I'm sticking them in different places in between the candy aisle. I had one store reach out to me and was like, can you please stop doing this? I was like, yeah, but little do they know. Every time I roll through there, I drop some more. I mean, because you just never know who you might come across. Like, you know, be your own, you know, walking billboard, promote your business no matter where you are. Because one conversation with one person can turn into, you know, a lifelong business for you and your company.
Facts.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. So let me ask you this, right? So the one thing I want you to really get into, I mean, I know your story because, you know, we talk and we've kind of shared stuff on this journey, but I want people to understand, like you a hustler, like you made it happen. So I want you to talk about those carriers that you were working with and just the barrier. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna let you take the rest of this. You know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about that.
So I came across a driver came across me on Facebook and told me he works for a company and the owner doesn't speak English. They couldn't find anybody to dispatch his trucks because of the language barrier. And at the time I was like, I don't know, let me see if I can try to figure something out. And I remembered that I had a friend who was incarcerated who had a cellmate or whatnot in there who spoke English and Spanish, but her husband only spoke Spanish. So she would communicate through my friend to communicate to me to assist her husband with putting money onto his onto her time clock or whatever, so she could talk to him. And I used the translation app to communicate with him to help him pay you know, he'd send me the money, I'd turn around and pay for it, and bam. So that kind of popped in my head when I got the driver that spoke Spanish. I was like, hey, you know, I don't speak Spanish, but I can use a translation app and we can see if that will work as a form of communication. And then, you know, I can try to help him with his English a little bit. And that started with one driver, one owner operator, and it got up to 12 drivers that were all touching freight at one point in time. Off of one driver that could not speak English well. He could read it, but he couldn't speak it. And it turned into those 12 or whatnot. I was known as in the PA area as a dispatcher that worked with carriers that spoke Spanish. And they knew that I didn't know a lick of Spanish. And sometimes they would send my information on to somebody and somebody would get on the phone and instantly start speaking Spanish. And I was like, whoa, my somanos. I was like, hey, I only speak English.
Taco Bell.
Yeah. So then they text me, like I had one guy text me, he was like, well, your name's Erica. I thought maybe you were Dominican because they're all from the DR. It could have went Dominican, so I thought you spoke Spanish. He was like, you black? I was like, yeah, I'm black. I don't speak Spanish, but I can help you. Nice. So that's how I kind of started with my drivers in the PA area. I was willing to try to do something that other people wouldn't try to do. Like they had been getting turned down because nobody could speak Spanish. But with the way technology is now, there's so many ways around stuff. So we've been using translation app. I've been, you know, I downloaded Rosetta Stone and do lingo on my phone. And when I got free time, I'll be in there playing around with it. Every now and then I'll call them and try to speak it, but this country twang and Spanish just don't mix too well sometimes. Some of the words. So I be having problems sometimes, but that's kind of what my niche became. I became known as that dispatcher, and I just looked at it as they're no different than us, as in people of color. They're trying to make it the same way that we are, and they have barriers. And that big barrier is the language is language. You have a lot of brokers that don't have anybody that can translate. So, you know, when it comes into, they want to contact the driver to check in. Well, how about you do the check-in with me and I'll run it down to the driver, and that way we can verify it that way because they don't speak English. And they're like, okay, well, can they read English? Yeah, they can read it, but they can't speak it well. And they, you know, of course, you know, with a new language, it might intimidate them. So I think it's more so, you know, they might be intimidated or embarrassed as well, but be that specialist that your drivers need. You just never know what kind of, you know, relationships you'll build on that way. Right now, being that the loads that we were running are no longer paying what they're paying, they're running Amazon right now, but they still keep in touch with me and be like, hey, you know, if you see such and such come across the board, let me know. You know, I'll run with you. Or if you come across something else that's dedicated, just keep us in mind. So, even though you might not be currently working with those people, just off of the relationship that you built when you initially started with them can still help you out in the long run.
Facts, big facts, man. So like, I can't even, all the points that you made just in that little segment right there, that's a lot. Like I think a lot of people don't realize, there's a quote, what was it? A lot of people don't see opportunity because it's disguised as work. So it's like,
I use that one.
It's like, sometimes you just got to work through it. You know what I'm saying? But it's an opportunity, but it's disguised as work. Like, and I mean, I know dealing with native English speaking carriers, trying to be the go-between between the broker and your carrier, and you texting and calling everything. I know that is a headache. I couldn't imagine it being like, okay, I got to say this stuff, but then I have to translate it to Spanish to make sure they comprehend it. They got to feed it back to me in Spanish. I got to translate it back to English and then feed it to. So hats off to you. Salute. Like you doing your thing for real.
Yeah, that's big. That's real big.
So Erica, what are your I mean, obviously you're doing all this marketing, you dropping cards and what I'm saying, making all this swag and everything. So what do you see your dispatching business in the next 6 to 12 months? What would you like to see?
Next 6 to 12 months, my niece will start as soon as school gets out. I'm gonna have her dispatching. She's currently a junior, and she was working at Walmart and whatnot. Saved up a whole bunch of money to where she doesn't really have to work her senior year, and she can just worry about school. But next 6 to 12 months, I plan on hiring on my niece to teach her dispatching and my 15-year-old nephew. That way that they don't have to do what I did at 16 and go work a regular job and still be in school, just to have, play money outside of what your parents give you. And I'm like, okay, well, if they can commit, a couple hours in the morning during their summertime to this and make the same amount of money that they would work, 30 hours, 40 hours a week during the summer, then why not give it, why not present them with that opportunity? Exactly. But in all honesty, if I can reach my goal of 4 times my salary and stuff, I plan on quitting my job.
Okay. All right.
Possibly. But I work at jobs where I'm able to do both. So to me, I'm trying to outweigh like the pros and cons, like as far as quitting, because, like now I'm able to do both. I'm able to, still perform in my job with, no issues and whatnot, and dispatch my drivers and umpire softball on the weekend. So if I can continue to do all three and keep my sanity, I don't see an issue with why not.
So I got to ask you this. I see you post all the time, softball. So what's up with you in softball? You started playing like in middle school or something? Like you just love that diamond. What's up with that? I
started playing when I was 6.
6.
Started with T-ball at 4 and whatnot. And my dad coached us all the way up. So I got into high school and I played high school sports. My freshman year of college, I was a catcher, and then after that was done because we weren't winning and I'm sort of loser. But after that, like somebody introduced me to slow pitch with co-ed. So I started playing co-ed softball. And in high school, on the days that I didn't work, I would go umpire Little League fast pitch, but I was a pitcher as well. So I didn't want to coach because I just can't deal with those parents. I can deal with them as an umpire. I couldn't deal with them as a coach. Well, my child ain't playing it. I ain't got time for that. But as an umpire, you can't have a discussion with me. And I looked at it as being a pitcher. I wanted to be able to give back to other pitchers who came across umpires that couldn't catch the pitches that they were throwing. Like other than the, traditional right down the plate. They're throwing curveball, screwball, and they're getting called balls because umpires aren't catching the ball breaking across the plate. So I was like, my way of giving back is to become that umpire. So, your pitchers and the pitchers aren't working as hard and they have a better understanding of possibly, where the ball is missing and stuff. You're like, yeah, the money is good, but it's really more so the love of the sport. I mean, I found the sport now I play volleyball and stuff, but we're a little bit too big to be jumping now. So, but but I can umpire softball, and I'm doing a sport that I love. So I figured why not, use that as a way to give back. Maybe on down the line, Royal Mile might sponsor a little softball team or something.
Okay, yeah.
But as of right now, we just go umpire.
Yeah, I could definitely see them jerseys. You put Royal Mile Dispatchers, and that'd be the team. You have your little truck logo and everything. That'd be
Nah, that'd be hard. Them colors. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So the other thing I was going to ask you, so we talked about, I got the explanations for the softball. So my other thing is, now you said that you wanted to get quadruple or 4 times your salary and you're going to quit, right? But now I got to ask you, how do you feel about the current market, these rates, this fuel and everything? Like, what's your outlook on that? Because to me, that's like, I mean, you got to have a lot of trucks, you know what I'm saying, to hit certain numbers because the rates are going. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's definitely been on hold right now. I was talking to Robbie about it one day, and I was like, man, like, you want these people to run this for just gas? And he was like, man, it's a broker's market right now. The best thing to do is, to try to book, short, efficient runs that, don't weigh as much, and try to pull every amount of change that you can out of these brokers. Like, brokers don't like when you run numbers to them. So like, you running a number, they trying to give you a $2 a mile rate, and you looking and you're like, okay, well, my driver gonna spend such and such and such and such on gas. That means that leaves them with this small amount, plus they have to pay me on top of, they have to have money, pay their insurance. I'm like I told you, James, and math ain't math. Like, I can't expect them to run something for a little amount, and then, I mean, it doesn't do me any good as a dispatcher to get paid for something like that, if in the long run it's gonna put my driver out of business,
right? And
then I won't be dispatching anything. So I try to look at it as if it were my truck. If this is my truck, I'm paying this truck note. I'm paying this $1,500 a month insurance. On top of, if I have a driver and I'm not the one driving, I have to pay my driver. Like, is this, logistically suitable and profitable for this man's company? Because if it's not, then I can't book it. And even when they'll be like, well, this is paying this, and this, or it's paying $4 a mile. Yeah, but they sending you to a dead zone where you're going to have to dead zone 100 miles out. So in reality, you're going to eat that on the back end of dead heading to another location. Yep. So it not try to use the word sucks, but it kind of sucks right now. But we making it work. We making it work. It's just keep your drivers in those hot market zones, and just run the numbers to the brokers. Like, hey, the previous day, I keep the hot market map pulled up, and I'll tell them, like, the previous day it was like 4,000 loads here. Sometimes I exaggerate it, and only 20 trucks. So do you want your load ran? Like, I have a driver empty here right now. We can get this load for you. That way, you keep your relationship with the shipper, and we can help you out. It's a win-win on both ends. And sometimes, they'll be lenient. Then you have some companies that don't want to. So you just move on from them. I ain't gonna mention no broker companies.
Man, mention the people, man. We don't care.
Is that allowed? Is that allowed?
Huh?
Say whatever you want. It's free.
TQL.
So y'all having issues with TQL? Really?
I am.
I want my driver to run 334 miles for $600. And he's a step deck. And they wanted him.
Wait, he has a step deck trailer?
Yeah, he has a step deck trailer.
And they want him to do that?
And they want him to run less than $2 a mile. I said, sir, this man at 40,000 pounds. I said, this ain't even 20K. I said, on top of that, it's not even $2 a mile as a step deck. I said, on top, he has to get up here and strap this down. I said, you're not even paying him for the work of getting out the truck.
So did you find him something else?
I did.
And what'd you get him?
I found him a short run. Let me see if I can pull up on this other screen. I found him a short run today, picking up. Let me see if I can find it. So I had him pulled somewhere out there. Because I have like this multi-screen thing going on. So he's going to pick up in New Orleans, and he's going to Port Arthur. Okay. And he's getting $9.50. So it's around like $4 something a mile. And then in Port Arthur, he's gonna pick up in Port Arthur and go to Hamilton, Texas.
Okay.
And it's
so that load that TQL had, that was going from New Orleans to where?
It was going from New Orleans to Dallas
for $600. That's crazy.
He said, "Well, we normally run this." I said, "No, y'all say that to us all the time."
No,
like sometimes you just got to be real with them. Be like, "Yeah, I heard that from the other broker. I was just normally run this. You aren't normally running this."
No, nobody's running that. I was just looking at dry van loads coming out of New Orleans because I mean, we're gonna see. Hopefully, everything works out. I got another Texas carrier coming on hopefully this week, and I was just looking because he said he wants to stay, within probably about
Texas,
300
Arkansas,
miles of
Oklahoma,
home.
Louisiana.
So he can just run Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and everything. Like that's crazy on those rates. But I don't know. I used to love TQL. TQL was
the golden ticket.
Because you just literally, it's like 4 buttons you hit once your carrier signed up. Boom, 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 done. Like, you know what I'm saying? They send the driver instructions and you done. But honestly, I really haven't. I guess maybe I haven't had any issues because I haven't been booking anything with them. Because when I'm scanning the load board and I see the rate, I just keep going. So I don't even stop the call.
Or they don't got to where some of them, they want you to put the rate, then they want you to call. Kind of like the one I had the other day. Talking about picking up in Dallas and it's picking up in Mount Pleasant. So Mount Pleasant is 2 hours from Dallas.
That happened to me today too. That happened to somebody else.
What?
It was posted in Nashville. And then I was like, okay, so where's it picking up? And it was like, I mean, it wasn't quite Chattanooga, but it was like halfway there. And I'm like, in a car, that's like an hour away. So in a truck, that's going to take an hour 30 minutes easily. Like, what are y'all doing? Why y'all put Nashville and it's not in Nashville?
But they always do that, man.
This is the first time I had this happen in a long time. I had a broker call me back and actually come meet my price because they had a load. It was 300. So first of all, they lied on the distance. They on the board, it was like 289 or something. So I'm like, okay, we could work with that. And it was 289. Rates are down. So I'm just like, just trying to move this carrier. It was posted for like 1,000. And I was like, all right, so what's the deal? It was like 44,000 pounds. He gonna tell me, oh, okay, yeah, the distance is 350 miles. So I'm like, whoa, we're not doing 44,000 for 350 miles for $1,000. That's not gonna happen. So I told him, I said, I need at least, because at $4 a mile, that's 1,400, seven times 2. So I was like, I need to be at 13. And then he was like, oh, no, we can't do that. But then like 2 hours later, I mean, I had already booked something else. 2 hours later, they called me back and I was like, okay, we'll do 13 because the load was just sitting there. So I was like, okay, maybe.
How can you do it? That's crazy, man.
But
I think it's a long time ago.
They thought they could get somebody to get it when nobody would take it. Then they hit me back.
Yeah.
So.
But the crazy thing about it, a lot of these drivers are taking these loads.
Yeah.
And it's kind of messing up the game. What do you think, Erica, is a decent rate right now to accept for your driver?
A decent rate as far as like keeping them profitable in this market, honestly, right now, 275 and keeping them in hot zones could possibly keep you, at least profitable where they're still making, the typical 5 to 8K a week. Because you might have one or two that'll get you for like 275, and then you'll have those that hit its person where they'll pay you like 340, 355, or some brokers will even, just depending on what kind of mood that they have for the day, they might be willing to, be realistic and be like, hey, well, the rate that we got on here is insane. Yeah, we'll go ahead. Kind of like James was saying, like they called him back, but they called him back late. So I just really depending on where they're going, 275 keeps them profitable.
What about 250?
Maybe 250 right now. But see, like it also depends on your drivers. Like when those drivers that I had that were running the touch freight and they were grossing 10K a week, I was like, make sure you hold on to your money. Yeah. Because it's gonna come a time where the freight is gonna get slow, the rates are gonna get low. I just didn't think they were gonna get this low. Because I remember, this time last year they were low, but they weren't just bad.
Yeah.
But this year it's kind of like dang, y'all ain't even taking in effect that diesel in some places is $5-6 a gallon.
Right. It's also the cost of fuel that's more expensive. That's what makes it hurt even more because the fuel's up.
Yeah, the fuel wasn't this bad last year. I mean, even for my car, I'm looking at, Like, man, I'm gonna get somewhere and sit down for a little minute. But it's just crazy. Like, it also, comes with the people who are hopping in the industry that aren't really educated or well versed in what's considered a good load, because they're just, I hate to say it, but watching people on YouTube and yeah, I can do that too, or coming in with unrealistic expectations, like I'm gonna get $5 a mile. Where's
Waldo? Seriously.
Where? Because especially not as a power only. No.
Oh no.
Definitely not. Not for anybody right now. I mean, you might get a reefer that can pull about 5, but they finna run for a little minute. But it's just crazy how the market. I mean, we expected it to decrease after the holidays and right before produce season peaks and whatnot. But I'm just like, man, like, dang.
What do you feel about? I saw a post in the group that's saying lowering your rate for those, for a week or for a month for those drivers while the rates are down. What do you feel about that? Your honest opinion.
People gonna do what they want to do with their companies. But I myself,
nope.
No. Because the work that you have to put in now is a lot more work than what you had to put in when the rates were up.
Yep.
Now, I understand, gifting them something or mailing something to their house, or, hey, lunch is on me for the day, or, take a load or two off. But I can't decrease my rate as a whole because my work has doubled and in some areas tripled. And you're constantly trying to find different avenues. Like, I was in the group the other day, I was like, look, put just the state on here and sort it to where just the emails come up. Copy and paste those emails and create you a whole email list to send to brokers and tell them where your trucks are. Because even though they might have a rate for this area, but they might know somebody in their department that has a rate for another area. Just like you have to try to find different ways to try to get your drivers loads. And being that, now I'm sure everybody is spending a lot more time going back and forth with these brokers on these rates than what we were in the, when market was good. So I couldn't do it, honestly. Now I understand, like, when the market evens out, if you want to try to decrease for a week or two or a month to, cut them some slack, but my business don't run out for free or air or
my business don't run out for
free. I can't, I mean, because like the saying goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna pay for it somehow. Like, Spectrum ain't told me, hey, we're gonna give you a discount on your internet because the rates are bad.
Now you're right.
So I just look at it that way. Like, the drivers know, like, people who are in the industry, they know that every time after, Christmas and whatnot is a slow season. Just so happened we got hit with inflation at the same time. And the economy is just bad right now as a whole. I mean, everybody's biting a bullet. People who are working regular jobs are still getting the same pay, and gas is skyrocketed. But they jobs ain't like, hey, we're gonna pay you extra $3 a mile, $3 an hour right now, because I almost said $3 a mile, but $3 an hour because gas is high. Like, at the end of the day, we all have a job that requires work. It's just right now as a dispatcher, our job is requiring a little additional more work to keep these trucks rolling. So no,
I got you. That's smart.
Yeah.
No, I can respect that.
True.
I mean, I respect everybody if they want to go down to 7% or 6%.
I ain't say that low now. 7 is too low. 7.
I can't even dispatch at 5% because if I'm getting up at 2:00 in the morning.
What you getting up at 2:00 in the morning for?
Like, so for me, like, if I have a driver, like, at one point in time, I was dispatching a reefer, and sometimes those appointments for reefers.
Oh yeah. When they get
insane. So, like, if they're delivering at 2:00, Central Time, I'm up at 2:00 to try to make sure everything is working out. And, you have to try to get them the lumper receipts and all of that and the T-checks. And I just can't see myself getting up at 2:00 and thinking that 5%. I decreased my price to help them while the market is wild right now. Yeah. Like, this is why they say, when the market's high, save your money. Like, I had a driver who was running those touch freights. He went a whole month and a half and didn't run. He said, I'm sitting my truck down. And some of his friends thought he was crazy. Like we had this conversation Friday. He was like, why would I run if I'm just running for gas? He's like, if you find something short, the guy that just bought the trailer, he went ahead and bought a trailer. Because he was just like, there's nothing for power only in my area, and I know that. And he was like, I'm just gonna buy a trailer. But until I buy this trailer, I'm gonna sit because there's no point in me running if I'm gonna have to run for gas and I still gotta pay my insurance. For me, it's more logical for me to just pay my insurance and not have to pay for gas because I'll just be running for these brokers for free.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, like, I could be on one of those loads and something happens on my truck. Then I'm out more money versus I could have just sat here and sat still, found like little side, things around the house or something to do, and then came back into my truck. But he also made that money last year and took that money and paid off his truck.
Okay, that's smart.
So
smart.
Yeah. He did it like I would have done it. Like, I'm gonna make all this money, I'm gonna pay my truck off. That way, when something happens, I don't have to foot a monthly bill for something. Yeah. So he made that money, paid off his truck. So he's like, I'm okay with it.
Talk about that, because I see a lot of drivers putting pressure on dispatchers because of their monthly bills. What do you feel about that? Like, they have a truck note, they have a insurance and all this other stuff. Do you feel it's right, or how do you feel about that?
I honestly don't think it's right, because by no means do I'm not trying to make it sound rude, but you had those expenses when you hired me. And if we grossed you a certain amount of money, 40,000 in a month or 80,000 in 2 months, and you weren't financially responsible, that doesn't fall back on me as your dispatcher. That falls on you as to not handling your business. Because I just know me, if I were buying a truck or whatnot, I pay my truck up and I pay my insurance up, at least 3-4 months in advance. That way, if something happens, or, if you had to put your truck in the shop, you're not having to foot a bill. Like, I'm cheap for real, y'all, like for real. I got my car payment set up on automatic draft. It come out every 2 weeks. I got my light bill and my insurance set up the same way. That way, I get paid the 15th and the 30th, which made me have to learn how to budget instead of it being every week. Now it's the 15th and the last day of the month, which is normally like 30th, 31st. So I went ahead and I set my bills up to come out on those same days, so that, if I hit a rainy day, I have money set to the side, or, when we get our bonuses on my job, I still have that money come out to pay those bills. So I'm always, I end up catching myself ahead of being ahead. And I try to explain it to my drivers, like, hey, if you got the funds, go ahead and pay for your truck. Like, I had one driver who was like, yeah, we're penny pinching right now. We're just trying to make ends meet. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you gross 12,000 in 3 weeks. So where's your money going? I mean, not 12,000 in 3 weeks, 10,000 every week, 30K, because you were running touch freight and you did it 5 days a week. So 30K. So I'm like, okay, well, where's your money going? And I try not to count their pockets, but I kind of feel like as a dispatcher, it's kind of my job to, in a sense, semi be nosy in regards to their finances.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how much is your truck payment? Like, like the break even point that Adam has for us. I've tried to get them to fill it out, but some of them have been reluctant. So I'm like, okay, well, how much is your truck payment? We can break this down in fours. How much is your insurance? We'll break this down in fours. And each week you make sure you set it up to automatically draft out. So you're always ahead.
Why do you think they're reluctant? Because I got a driver right now I think is reluctant to do it.
Because I think they don't want you to know they break even point. That way they can still tell you that I need loads that are $3 a mile because that's the only way I can be profitable. No, your break even is probably around $1.50, if that much.
Exactly.
And I really think that's why they're reluctant, because they don't want us. They know that we know our stuff. They know, I mentioned to them who course I took, and I know this, and I be kind of educating them on certain things. And I think that with that, they might maybe they're intimidated, or they might feel like we just being too nosy. But I look at it as we trying to help you help us too.
Exactly, because I want to know if I'm getting you a good load. You know what I'm saying? If I have to accept a load that's $2.50, I don't want to be feeling bad. But if I know, like one of my drivers, my OG driver, the lady, she told me her break even point is $1.70. So I had to book her a load. I hate to say it, for $2.60, but I don't feel as bad because I know she's still making money.
She's still making money.
But I told my drivers, I still want to make you the most money because the more money you make, the more money I make. So I'm not going to be out here cheapskating. I'm definitely going to try to push it. But at the same time, I don't want to be like, oh, dang, I failed, because I actually care. And I think we all care, you know what I'm saying?
Because I be feeling bad. I never forget. One of my drivers had a touch freight load. And it went from, I think it's one of those two areas in the Northeast where it's only a ferry that gets through, but the ferry only takes cars. So he had to go back up around. It's like Delaware and it might be New Hampshire, Maryland and New Jersey. Okay. I posted about it in a group, but I felt so bad because it added like an extra 300 miles on it. The broker didn't catch it. I didn't catch it. And then when he said something to me about it, I was like, oh, man.
Oh, he had to ride a ferry across?
Yeah, so the ferry only takes cars. It won't take 18-wheelers. So since the ferry didn't take 18-wheelers, they had to come all the way back up and around to get to the next store.
Dang. So
I was like, well, you know what? I can't even charge you this week. Because, you had to put the extra money. Now, that's the only time I've really just done it for free because it ended up putting them out an extra day. The broker and them were kind of reluctant on paying them for the extra day because they were like, well, we should have caught it. I'm like, but y'all sent it to me and y'all normally catch it. I just didn't put that one in that day. And I was like, dang. And I told him, I was like, I feel bad. Like I've done it like that, but other than that, I can't do no discount. And when Christmas and your birthday and all of that come, oh yeah, I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah. I've done the, like, if I made a mistake and my driver had to like maybe waste more gas or pay something, I'll like knock the next load off. I say the next
feeling
load.
Bad.
Yeah, I say the next load is on me. I'm not going to charge. I had one time a driver had to sit, and it was only because he got off of, this was when I was still new, so I didn't really know too much, but I think he got off a load at like 3:00, and I'm thinking I could find another load, and he had to actually sit, which is not, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a decent reason because the broker's kind of closed at that time, but I still should have been proactive. And I just gave him the next load for free because he had to sit, so whenever I mess up or I should have caught something, I pretty much,
Yeah, I sent a driver to the Amazon in Dallas on 20. I learned my lesson. I knew I was trying to
food too, right?
Yes, I took him food.
What's wrong with that? Tell me.
Oh, you will sit at minimum of 15 hours.
Where?
Amazon off of 20 in Dallas. It's off right off the highway. I believe it's off of 20. And I booked the load with the broker. It was a good rate. I was like, yeah, this ain't the one on such and such. He was like, no, it's not. I done signed the rate con and sent it to him. And then I put the address in. I was like, shoot. So I went ahead and called him. I was like, look here, I'm so sorry. You finna sit at this Amazon for a while, but let me know what you want to eat. I'm gonna go get you dinner. So I got him dinner that night, and I turned around and took him breakfast that morning. He was still sitting in line. I felt so bad. He was like, no, it happens. I was like, no, because I was trying to avoid this one. I posted the video in the group. What you say?
My truck broke down. Hey, my truck
we can't make it.
I got my airbag. Dang it, man.
Man, I blew a tire out on the way to pick up the load. Man, we're not even gonna make it.
I keep you posted, man, but I don't know. You might want to get somebody else.
I'm gonna tag you to the video, Karen, because I did a video.
Yeah. It was like a parking lot.
They were literally off the highway exit in a line to get into Amazon.
One of my Texas carriers told me that he doesn't run Amazon anymore, but he said he used to. He said he's delivered to that facility before. He said he sat for 26 hours waiting in line to get unloaded.
Why is it so bad?
Hours. Because they move. It's like they move slow there.
And it's so many
trucks. Even if you have an appointment time.
I hate to say it, it's us probably loading.
It is.
Oh man,
You know
we
it
ain't doing
is.
nothing.
But
Listen
it's
to little
that
baby and
Amazon.
stuff.
That Amazon is something crucial. I said never again.
Dallas,
They
Amazon.
won't get me no more.
But
And
how many DCs are in Dallas though, Erica? It's more than one.
Ooh, it's several. I know they just built one out in Forney, which is Forney is kind of like on the outskirts.
Yeah,
I believe they have one in Irving or Grand
like
Prairie.
3 or 4 of them in that area.
Like at least 3 to 4. And that's the one you don't want to send nobody to. The rest of them they can get in and out quick.
And tell us Dallas, what area?
I'm gonna tag you to the post in the group because I'm gonna find it. Because I felt bad. I felt so bad.
You should have known.
It was like it looked like a truck, like trucks for sale. You know how they just be lined up. Yeah. But it was all just sitting there waiting to get unloaded. Like you walk in the line. Like, what truck you gonna buy? That's how bad it was.
Dang it, yo.
It was like, what's the point of having an appointment there? Because you can't even get into the check-in spot. Nope. He was there like 4 hours early and still delivered late. It was bad. Crazy. It was bad.
So what? Tell me, give some of the new dispatchers game on stuff like that, because a lot of people don't know what to do when or if they can't even do anything when their driver is sitting and waiting, about detention, about layover. Are the brokers even helping or assisting you? Or are they just pretty much telling you, are they helping you? Give some of the new dispatchers game and us game on what they can do, how can they help to move the process to go a little faster when drivers are waiting?
So when I book a load, I always ask them what's their detention policy, the detention and payover. That way I have it, kind of sitting on the side on my little notepad. Yeah. And because a lot of the brokers, they'll have it listed on the rate con, but some of them have them on the carrier on the carrier broker agreement. So if you as the dispatcher didn't complete their broker carrier agreement, you don't know what their rate is. So I just got into a habit of always asking when I book the load, and I let them know when the driver picks up, when they stop, when they make it to the delivery location, and that they're checked in. And I make sure to tell my driver, have your in and out time put on there. As well as like when I'm booking the load, I ask them, okay, well, what's your status in regards of how to let you all know that he's about to reach detention. And a lot of brokers are like, they need to know 30 minutes before the 2 hours is reached. Yeah. So I myself keep a paper email trail. Like from the time you send me the rate con, if it's one that's, the PDF time where you can type it in and submit it, and then they turn around and send it to you in a PDF form, I reply to that and I state what they told me as far as like the layover and the detention pay. And then I go to my sent box, and every time the driver updates me, I open that email and I respond to that one. And I keep the broker updated that way. That way it's all listed on one email. Mm-hmm. So they can't say, well, we told you this, and this. Well, no, because, you responded to this email confirming that, yes, this is correct. And you confirmed with me that that the driver is waiting. Because I think in a lot of ways, the dispatchers kind of harm or whatnot in regards to detention is they don't know how long it takes for your driver to get to detention. Like as far as like what the broker requests. Yeah. So I try to tell people like, hey, make sure, and then the driver's not putting the in and out time. They can make sure that someone at the shipping location puts it, because you have to have it on the BOL to prove that you were actually there at that time. Then send the BOL back requesting the amount that you need, so the broker can send you an updated rate con, and each day just follow up on it if you haven't gotten it. A lot of brokers are pretty quick. Yeah. We're getting you that updated rate con, send over to your driver. You have some of those that you have to be on top of.
Landstar, I waited 2 weeks and a half for $40. $40, yo. My driver wanted, so I had to get it for $40, man. The broker literally stopped emailing me. Like I have like 8 emails where he never responded. I went on Google and found Landstar's customer service number, and I had to talk to a separate lady, and I had to stay on top of her. And it was like, while I was looking for loads, I had my other phone pretty much right here, so I can be on hold, because I was on hold each time like 30 minutes. And I, finally, because I didn't want to tie up the phone that I talked to brokers. So I had the other phone right here on hold. And whenever they answered, I can pretty much, start talking to them. But it took me 2 weeks and a half for $40.
Oh, the address is 33-3. It's 5 threes, 33-333 London B. Johnson freeway in Dallas. That's the Amazon.
All right,
Stay away
everybody
from
hear that.
Huh?
Stay away.
Stay away from that
33-3.
DC. Stay away from
333.
that DC.
London B. Johnson, Amazon. Or you need $7 a mile.
Shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I push for 20 just in case your broker don't want to pay you the attention.
$20 a mile. We're enforcing that. You heard it here first.
Look, we're gonna be like Auntie Maxine. We reclaiming our time. We need our time and money ahead of time. Cause man, you're gonna sit there, you're gonna sit.
All right, so
Question. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna ask her about vetting her drivers. I like to hear about how everybody vet their drivers and what type of questions you ask them, so you can know if that's the right carrier for you. It's not going to, stress you out, and if you can work with them, especially in this market now. How do you vet your drivers?
And so I start off by asking, like to give me a rundown of their company, where they see themselves within the next, kind of like you asked me, 6 to 12 months. Do they plan on scaling up and having more trucks, or are they okay with just the one truck that they have? As far as flatbeds, do you have tarp, chains, binders, dunnage? Are you willing to tarp that you have tarp? I asked drivers, do they have TWIC card, any certifications or endorsements? How often do you want to be home? Like, don't tell me you want to be home every other night if you live in an area where that's almost impossible.
Right.
Because I'm just gonna be honest with you. Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
And you want,
or if they're like, yeah, I want to make $5 a mile, I'm very realistic with them. Like, if that's what you want, I'm not the dispatcher for you. Now we can keep you profitable, but I can't guarantee you $5 a mile on each load. Like, I don't guarantee anything. I try to give them a range. I let them know that I'm available to talk 24/7, and that 24/7 will bite you in the behind sometimes. Because you pretty much, as a dispatcher, you become their counselor as well. Like, you hear about everything going on with the family, and such and such child did this, and this, and I'll be like, woo. I'll be thinking like, dang, that's my niece and nephew cutting up like that.
Hold on, question. Have you ever got a call while you was trying to catch a strike coming down the middle?
I have. So my drivers
great.
that were touching freight, they knew I umpired softball on the weekends. So I kept my AirPod in my ear, and like in between pitches, they would hear me calling like ball or strike. And then I turn around and ask them and be like, hey, is your lift gate messed up? And if they answer yes or no, I turn around and text Bree on my watch and be like, hey, my partner in the field. It should have her AirPod sometimes too. But they for the most part, a lot of them are okay with it. I don't want to tell on us, but we get it handled. But we don't miss no pitches. We don't miss.
Oh man, y'all calling balls foul. They
cutting up on umpires right now.
They texting calls to each other.
They cutting up on umpires right now. But
I swear about the umpire that was umpiring my daughter's game this Saturday had his earpods in or something. Because some of those calls he was calling, I'm like, yo,
they were bad.
Yeah, it was all good. We were just playing at 12 o'clock at night. That probably was the reason.
Ooh, I'm telling you, them last couple of games be the ones that get you on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Those be those that, like, you feel like your feet finna fall off from under you after you done, squatted and ran with them. Little girls can move in a weekend.
Yeah,
you sitting there running with them.
They had to flip a coin for the championship. They didn't want to play the last game. They just flipped a coin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dang. But yeah, I try to explain to the drivers, what I do on weekends. If I know that they're gonna run a weekend load, I try to book it around the umpiring part. Or if I see that, like, hey, they're gonna deliver at 3 o'clock. My partner and I, we work pretty well together. I'll have her be like, hey, I need you to get behind the plate this game. So in case, my driver call with any issues or whatnot, I can kind of handle it in the field versus I can't get to it, behind the plate. But we ain't really had any, I hadn't really had any issues on a Saturday for the most part, other than maybe a lift gate here and there. And just calling, wanting a breakdown and getting it taken care of that way. But other than that, like appointment times and stuff, it's been pretty chill.
Okay. You had a question? Did I interrupt, James?
No. Not. I was just gonna ask my standard stuff. So, did you have anything else you was trying to ask?
Nah. She pretty much answered everything of the market, the drivers, everything.
Yeah,
I will say I like the fact that if any new dispatcher is watching this, is like there's no excuse. You see Erica, she pretty much is dispatching. She has her own job and she's an umpire. So I don't want to say I hate, but I don't like people who make excuses. Get it done or get it done. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to get it done. And if you just somebody who has a regular 9 to 5 and you can't figure out a way to do it, then this ain't probably for you. You know what I'm saying? Get it done.
And that's fine, because dispatching ain't for everybody, but you have to be mature enough to know that, hey, this ain't for me. Like, it's some people it's not for, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. My first couple of months, I was like, man, I'm ready to quit my own company. Just because it was slow starting out, and I'm just like, man, like, is this how it's supposed to be? But then like my little brother had to remind me, like, shoot, everything that's worth it ain't gonna come to you and sit in your lap. Like, you ain't never had nothing just that easy come to you. You worked for everything, so what make you think this is gonna be any different? And James had to humble me a couple of times on some stuff too.
No, I just gave you a different perspective. That's all. I just gave you a different perspective. That's all.
He had to get in my behind, but it's cool. I appreciate when people can do it and do it in a loving manner, in a caring type of manner, and not know you need to like be like, hey, you looking at it this way, but I'm looking at it this way. Like, it's sometimes all it takes is that different perspective on things for you to realize that you really kind of complaining for no reason.
Just me.
A little bit.
So let me ask you this. So, I mean, all the experiences you've been, this is not a question that you can answer, because I know it's probably so much to it. But if you could share just kind of like 1 or 2 nuggets that dispatching that you've learned from this whole experience since the first day you started to up till now, what would that be? Just like overall, just like, wow, this lesson is like the biggest lesson I've learned thus far. What would that be?
Vet your carriers and convince them to do invoicing and factoring.
Woo.
Vet your carriers, as in by vet your carriers, everybody ain't gonna be for you.
Yep.
If you feel it in your stomach, box trucks ain't for me, y'all. I tried it and they still were not for me. I don't knock nobody to do them.
Nope.
But the moment a box truck called me, hey, I can't work with you, but if you pass me your information, I'll forward it along to dispatchers that I know who will service you, but I'm not the dispatcher for you.
Yeah.
Like that, on top of power onlys that want to be local and home every night in areas that it can't. I done learned that here in the last couple of months when the touch freight thing flipped the script. Like, it was good while it lasted, but now, hey guys, like, we gotta be willing to get on the road. And factoring or Triumph Quick Pay, which I still push factoring because it's a lot of companies that Triumph Quick Pay doesn't approve for their quick pay process.
Yeah.
As a dispatcher, I do offer invoicing and factoring. I prefer not to do invoicing, but I will. Invoicing is when your carrier doesn't have a factoring company and they're okay with waiting those 30 days. And you have to create a whole invoice to send to the broker to pay your driver and then keep up with the 30 days. And when they haven't gotten paid, hey, my driver didn't get paid. We did this load, this load, this load. That becomes a headache. So I try to push people into doing factoring. OTR, Triumph, Seven Oaks. There's several different, factoring
RTS.
companies, RTS, because it becomes a headache. And then they're saying, well, I don't have enough money for gas. Well, if you would factor your loads, this wouldn't be an issue. And I try to even convince them with hey, factoring your loads is a business expense. That's going to help you in the long run when it comes to your tax write-offs. Having a dispatching service is a business expense. That's a write-off for you. So why not take every write-off that you can get as a truck owner operator and still, not have to pay Uncle Sam so much? Because I do know after this year, I'm not paying Uncle Sam.
I said it also makes it, you're right with the tax write-off part, but on the other side, it just makes the business convenient and
flow well.
Yes,
everybody.
I'm dealing with that right now. I got a carrier that this carrier does not do factoring, does not want to do factoring, so everything is quick pay though, because they don't want to wait the 30 days.
That's the same as factoring, almost 1% difference.
It's like literally it's a range between 3, well sometimes 2 and 5%, because this person, they'll say, oh well, because some brokers have multiple options, so they'll have like 5% for next day. Then if you do like 3 days, it'll be like 3% or whatever. So they'll be like, okay, well, just try and keep it in the 2 or 3% range. So literally, I just create a reminder on my phone, because I got to invoice some brokers when I get off this, and it's just like, this is the first time I've ever had to do this, because everybody else has factoring. So I think that might be required forward. I think that might be like you have factoring? No? Okay, well, let me know when you get it if you want to work with me.
Yes, because it becomes a headache. Like, unless they're running like with the same broker all the time with Triumph Pay, it's hard. Because like I was trying to explain to my driver that just got the trailer the other day, he doesn't have factoring. And at the time it was okay because he was running those touch freight loads. But now you're wanting to run different loads because you have trailer, but this company isn't eligible for Triumph Pay. And I'm like, okay, you can do their quick pay, but their quick pay is 5%. Oh, well, I don't want to pay that much. Okay, well, here's the link for factoring again. Sign up and get you a factoring company. You pay that 2%. I'll still submit everything for you, but you're going to get your money within the next, 24 to 48 business hours. So why not just go ahead and do factoring and be done with it? All right, that factoring and vetting your carriers as a new dispatcher. If you're going to offer factoring services, please know exactly the process on doing it. If you don't take Alice Good Energy course and you ain't in a Facebook group, you missing out, because we did it play by play on screen record on how you can run and book and put those loads in there. So if you don't take that course, I would suggest that you call the factoring company and have them walk you through the process. But never be too afraid to offer services as a factoring company, because you have to, as a dispatching company, because you have to remember, a lot of these truck drivers don't like paperwork. They don't like paperwork. They don't want to fool with it. They don't want to sign on rate cons. They don't want to keep up with anything. So the more paperwork that you take off of their hands, the easier for you and the easier for them. If you're already getting a rate con and a BOL, why not submit it for factoring?
Yeah.
It's a couple of seconds.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely right.
Nah,
wow. Okay. Like, you just been dropping knowledge the whole time. So
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you, sis.
No problem.
And I appreciate you you sticking it out, and you still you know what I'm talking about.
I know you like cares.
I want to salute Erica publicly. Like, I know the vast majority of people, like, we don't have a big audience yet, but hopefully it'll continue to grow. They're not gonna know what I'm talking about, but I also want to say thank you, because I see you, in the group, and you just really be jumping in there, answering questions, helping people, like the new people, the people who don't have as much knowledge or experience as, some of us other dispatchers do. So I just want to say, if nobody else says it to you, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. And I see
no problem.
the change from when you was, you weren't really feeling it to now you just like everybody, big sis, like, what do I do? And you just be like, well, do this or look over here. So
utilize that search bar.
Look at the search bar, bro.
Utilize that search bar. It will save your life. Because I promise you, if you in there, it's been posted. And if it ain't been posted, I'm finna look too, because I'm gonna be curious too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to me, that's what those kind of groups are for, like networking. If you come across something or a situation everybody else hasn't experienced, like how did you handle it? Or if none of us have experienced it, like should we all need to research that way? Next time it happens or it comes up to us, we'll be able to help the next person, or who's to say that it won't help you? So I look at it because as James said, I was very reluctant at first. But if I can help the next dispatcher, it'll help the industry as a whole, because there's a lot of drivers that downplay the job of a dispatcher. It's more than just booking a load. We pretty much your secretary. We your business wife or husband, and we up in the wee hours with you.
Ain't nobody business husband. That don't sound good. Pause on that. Pause.
Well, you pretty much they business wife, and they coming to you, with you're kind of like family to a lot of them. Like they talk to you more than they talk to their family, or they talk to you just as much as they talk to their family. So at some point in time, it's business, but at some point in time, it do come a little personal. Like I didn't even know my driver grandpa, and I cried when his grandpa died because he called me crying. I was like, man, like shoot, like I'm hurting like you hurting. He was like, well, I can't do my load. I said, boy, anybody worry about that load. Go be with your family. I'll just let the broker know what's going on. But it's you have to wear your emotions on your sleeve in this industry, but not wear them. Like when it comes to those brokers, take what they say with a grain of salt and keep pushing.
Yep.
When you got these drivers that don't want to pay your 10%, you know what you're worth. Just like with dispatching in any other aspect of your life, you know what you're worth. And if they don't want to pay your worth, then they don't want your business. Right. I'm not going to convince you. It's up to you. I mean, my name speaks for itself. My business speaks for itself. I can only, try to have that talk with you. And if you feel like you would be paying too much, then, hey, I mean, that's on you. You want to make $5K a week instead of 8? That's cool too. I mean, because in reality, you still gonna gross an extra 2 or 3. I mean, you just never know with working with a dispatcher what it can do for you as a driver. But as a dispatcher, like take the negativity and keep it moving. Like don't dwell on it. Don't let nobody upset you or run up your blood pressure, because this industry will do it if you allow it to. And just go off of those relationships that you've built with people. Like James, it's been a while. I've known James for a while now, and it just all came from the group. And James was able to do stuff I wasn't able to, because I couldn't keep a power only moving in Texas without a dedicated. And James was running them with a brand new authority. Like you have to just know that like everything isn't meant for you. It might be meant for someone else, and you still get a blessing out of it, because they can turn around and pass you leads or information that you wouldn't have had you not came across this person. And it's okay to help people. It's okay to help people, but it's not okay to feed them. As in spoon feed them.
Yeah.
Help them get to the answer, but don't give it to them, because the more you give it to them, the more they're going to want you to give it to them instead of you helping them.
Yep.
It's a bar.
Yep.
I'd have posted that in the group.
Yeah, do that. Wow. Okay. Well, man, this has been a great call again, Erica. Thank you for your time. Karis, you got anything you need to add?
I guess Erica, give us some. Well, she just did. She just closed it on a good note.
Right. All you got to really do now is put your stuff out there, your website, your social media, all that stuff.
My social media is Royal Mile Dispatching. That's my Facebook and my Instagram. My website is www.royalmiledispatching.com. And I'm trying to learn TikTok, but I don't know about the TikTok stuff. I feel like I might be a little bit too old for it, but I downloaded it because my nephew be dancing on there. He's only 6. So I think I'm like one of his top fans. But I thought about promoting on TikTok, but I don't know about that one.
I do TikTok now. I'm doing it. Not dancing, huh?
how's it going? I don't know what hashtags to use because TikTok hashtags compared to Instagram hashtags are completely different. And like which ones you should use.
I'm still learning it. I'm just using the TikTok black screen, the green screen, and I'm posting it to Instagram.
Oh, you saving the videos. Got you.
Yeah, but I'm still posting on TikTok, but I'm just using it for Instagram. Like, just to build my following.
It's a lot of TikTok. It's a lot of drivers on TikTok that they be dropping knowledge and stuff too on like certain loads and locations and warehouses on where not to go because you're gonna sit forever and stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and find them and through my history.
I need to follow those. I need to follow some of them guys in.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, well, maybe downloading TikTok came out good.
Yeah.
So I was adamant on not doing it for the longest, just because it was just something else I was gonna be scrolling when I could have been doing other things. And I still found myself downloading it. But it's been, as long as you keep it educational, you good.
Yeah,
exactly.
It can be productive.
All right, so Karis, go ahead, man. Close us out.
Oh, my word for the week.
Yeah, man.
I give y'all, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. And we'll end it like that.
That's good stuff. All right, to everybody watching, we thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. And this has been another episode of Eavesdropping Knowledge. So y'all be safe. God bless.